this is Warhawk Beyond 2040, bringing to you another edition of the Wrestling Discussion Series. And June 7th, 2009 marks 16 years ago that history was made at Extreme Rules when CM Punk cashed in his Money in the Bank contract and defeated Jeff Hardy to become the World Heavyweight Champion, thus kicking off one of the hottest and most personal feuds from the summer of 2009. And for today's special edition, I am going to be discussing the success and failures of the CM Punk versus Jeff Hardy feud from June 2009 to August 2009. And before we go any further, I want to give a quick shout out to Ashley Burchett, AJ Lee Fan Love 23 Love, who I know is a big fan of CM Punk and actually requested for some CM Punk content for the Wrestling Discussion Series. So this will be the first of many CM Punk content for this month. So I am dedicating this to him. Hope you like it. So, with that all said, let's get straight into it. So, when you think of two wrestlers who are the complete polar opposites to each other, the two names for me that come to mind are CM Punk and Jeff Hardy. On one side, you've got CM Punk, who is the straight edge superstar, the voice of the voiceless, who doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs or drink alcohol, and lives a very clean, unique lifestyle and marches to the beat of his own drum and always does things his own way and is very outspoken and very honest to the point of being extremely blunt. And he is always someone who speaks his mind. If he doesn't like something or he has a dislike for someone, he'll tell you like it is, straight up, no pun intended. And then on the other side, you've got Jeff Hardy, the fearless, charismatic enigma who isn't afraid of taking a risk and is very much a daredevil in the ring and a man of few words who lives a very unique and colourful lifestyle. And when he does speak, people listen and people have always gravitated towards him. And he has a very die-hard, loyal fan base. So the CM Punk versus Jeff Hardy feud for me was one of my all-time favorites from 2009 because I looked at this feud as the one that carried SmackDown during the summer months because The Undertaker was away on another hiatus, this time following his epic classic against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25. So he was gone for quite some time. And we had CM Punk and Jeff Hardy, who pretty much picked up the ball, ran with it, and done an amazing job in carrying SmackDown. And this feud, on paper, I thought, it'll be okay, but I don't expect it to be anything special. But once this feud was over, I was completely blown away by not only how good the promos were, but the match quality as well. We got three matches out of this feud, and I felt it carried SmackDown. I definitely watched SmackDown a lot during the summer of 2009 with my best friend, and the main reason for that was these two, CM Punk and Jeff Hardy. And the seeds for this personal feud were planted at Extreme Rules 2009 when Jeff Hardy defeated Edge for the World Heavyweight title in a ladder match, and CM Punk came straight out after, cashed in his Money in the Bank contract, and defeated Jeff Hardy to become the World Heavyweight Champion. Now, Extreme Rules was a very good night for CM Punk because earlier in the show, CM Punk defeated Umaga in a Samoan strap match. So to go from beating Umaga to closing out the show and defeating Jeff Hardy for the World Heavyweight title was a very good night for CM Punk. Now, even though CM Punk defeated Jeff Hardy for the World Heavyweight title, he was still a babyface, but it was clear that he was slowly teasing a heel turn. So CM Punk came out the following week on SmackDown to a very mixed reaction, but more boos. And CM Punk was very unapologetic. He didn't really say sorry. He said that, look, I just did what I had to do. I saw an opportunity. I took it. I cashed in, defeated Jeff Hardy, and became the World Heavyweight Champion. More or less saying, look, screw all of you. I did what I had to do. Get over it. Deal with it. That was his attitude. He was pretty much very uncaring. And CM Punk brought up a point where he said, well, I've already won back to back Money in the Bank ladder matches. I cashed in the year before against Edge and defeated him for the World Heavyweight title. I didn't see anybody complain about that. In fact, everyone was quite pleased when I defeated Edge in that manner. But now all of a sudden, I defeat Jeff Hardy, and all of you people don't like that. So to hell with all of you. So it was very obvious that CM Punk was going to turn heel, but it was just a matter of when. Now, bear in mind, CM Punk had been in WWE since 2006 when he debuted as part of the ECW brand. And he was pretty much very over as a babyface. He'd already had an established career going all the way back to his early days on the indie scenes and in Ring of Honor. So people knew who he was. He was already an established name and he had a long career. But as far as WWE terms, he had already been in the company for almost 3 years. So he was very much a beloved figure. So fans were not happy about CM Punk defeating Jeff Hardy and the way he did it. So Jeff Hardy came out and confronted CM Punk and he wanted a rematch. Edge came out and said that he wanted a rematch. So this led to a triple threat match on Raw, and CM Punk was able to retain his title even though he was injured due to a knee injury, and he pretty much went out of his way to make sure that Jeff Hardy didn't win this triple threat match. So he retained the title, and Jeff Hardy, of course, was not happy about the fact that he got screwed out of the title by CM Punk. So this was all setting up for a match at the Bash. So it was going to be CM Punk versus Jeff Hardy for the World Heavyweight title at the Bash. So CM Punk defeated Jeff Hardy by disqualification after he kicked the referee, and this would lead to Punk, quote unquote, injuring his eye, but Jeff Hardy claimed that the eye injury was a ruse and he was pretending to be injured. And this would lead to CM Punk slowly becoming more of a heel. So throughout the build up to their rematch, which was at Night of Champions, we would see CM Punk more or less throwing his superiority around and basically belittling the fans for supporting Jeff Hardy due to his lifestyle. And CM Punk would accuse the fans of being brainwashed by Jeff Hardy's nonsense. So you can clearly see that this feud was getting very personal. And I thought this feud did a very good job in weaving certain real life aspects of their respective careers, because we know that Jeff Hardy has a checkered past. He's been suspended a number of times. He's even gone as far as being released from the company. And CM Punk, of course, has always preached and been very vocal about the fact that he lives a very drug free lifestyle. So I thought they did a good job in incorporating those real life aspects into this feud. So we would see Jeff Hardy and CM Punk have another match, this time at Night of Champions, and Jeff Hardy defeated CM Punk for the World Heavyweight title and became the champion once again. And then the following week on SmackDown, CM Punk officially turned heel when he came out, and at first it looked like he was going to congratulate Jeff Hardy in winning the title, and then he kicked his head and went on to destroy him and ramming him into the steel steps. So now the feud was a full on war. CM Punk was now a heel for the first time in WWE, and Jeff Hardy was very much the heroic babyface. And this, for me, was when the feud really started to heat up, because prior to their first match they had, Punk was still a babyface, but he was leaning more towards being a heel. He was showing no remorse, and he was very unapologetic for his actions, and even going as far as to say, look, screw all of you. You'd rather support someone like Jeff Hardy than me, who is very honest, drug free, but Jeff Hardy is a liar who has constantly let all of you people down time and time again. That's the person you'd rather support. Well, you know what? I don't need you people anyway. So this was a tremendous feud. And this would lead to another match, this time in a tables, ladders, and chairs match at SummerSlam. And for me, I loved the match they had at the Bash, and I thought they had a great match at Night of Champions, but I thought their TLC match was excellent. And for me, probably the best match of SummerSlam 2009. The second best match for me on that card was probably DX versus Legacy. I thought that was a great match, but I think Punk versus Jeff Hardy was maybe a little bit better. And I thought going into this match, I thought Jeff Hardy's going to win. He's the master of the ladder. He's got every chance of winning this match, even though he's never won a TLC match. Edge and Christian won most of them, but I thought he's got the experience. He's got this in the bag. And CM Punk won. He regained the World Heavyweight title. And of course, as we know, Undertaker came out after the match, who made his big return and chokeslammed CM Punk to close out SummerSlam. But the feud between Jeff Hardy and CM Punk was far from over. They had one more final chapter to write before this feud could conclude. So on the following week on SmackDown, CM Punk and Jeff Hardy faced again one more time for the World Heavyweight title, but with an interesting stipulation. This was to be contested in a steel cage match, with the stipulation is that the winner of this match would have to leave WWE forever. So, after a grueling cage match, CM Punk came out on top and retained the World Heavyweight title, and Jeff Hardy was forced to leave the company. Now, the real reason for this is, from my understanding, he was written off TV due to a neck injury, and he had some other injuries as well. So this was more or less done to take him off TV for a while. And I still remember CM Punk coming out the following week dressed up as Jeff Hardy just to irritate the fans even more, and even going as far as to call him the charismatic enabler. Oh, classic stuff. But this was a tremendous feud, and for me, you know, as a heel, this was some of CM Punk's best work. I thought he was at his best here. I thought he really did a good job in getting nuclear heat from the fans. And as much as I love CM Punk as a babyface, I think he's even better as a heel. And I thought this did a really good job for Jeff Hardy. I thought he was very loved, very over during this time. And as I said earlier, I thought Jeff Hardy and CM Punk really carried SmackDown with this feud. They produced three excellent matches on pay per view, and to bookend it with a steel cage match with Jeff Hardy being forced to leave the company forever. Tremendous storytelling. The way they incorporated real life aspects of their respective careers was very well done. And I loved that the following week, after Jeff Hardy was gone, as I mentioned earlier, CM Punk dressed up as him and even showing photographs of Jeff Hardy getting arrested and getting charged and all sorts of things. I just thought, wow. Even though the guy's gone, Punk's still kicking dirt to his name. I thought, tremendous stuff and a very dirty move on Punk's part, but it just did wonders and made him an even more bigger heel and an even more bigger piece of crap. Tremendous stuff, and I loved it. This feud was really good. So, in terms of the success and failures of the CM Punk versus Jeff Hardy 2009 feud, a complete success. Very entertaining, excellent matches, great promo work. Punk was at his best here as a annoying and outspoken heel. Jeff Hardy was at his best as the man of few words, fearless daredevil, beloved babyface. Both of these guys were at their peak here. And I definitely think that this feud, I think it lasted for a total of like nearly 2 months or so. They did a lot in those 2 months. June to August, that's 2 months. They did a lot of stuff. If Jeff Hardy had stayed, would this feud have continued? Probably. I wouldn't have complained. And that would be it. They wouldn't cross paths ever again. CM Punk would continue to thrive in WWE and go on to become one of the biggest names, and Jeff Hardy would go back to TNA. We all know what happened there, but still he stayed there for a while. And now that CM Punk is back in WWE and the Hardy Boys are back in WWE, you know, Jeff Hardy has spoken about the idea of finishing up his career with CM Punk as his final opponent. I personally think that would be tremendous. I think Punk's got one more heel run in him. I would like to see that. But I think, and this might surprise some of you, I think for a change of dynamic, I'm not sure how it would work, but I'd like to see the roles reversed. I think Jeff Hardy as a heel could be very interesting. Imagine that. Jeff Hardy as a heel and CM Punk as the heroic babyface. Now that would be something because WWE these days is in a very interesting place because we are seeing lots of shocking portrayals, lots of different dynamics, and guys switching places. So, for example, right now we've got John Cena as a heel, and we've got CM Punk and Randy Orton as baby faces. So, that's a dynamic you would never have envisioned 16 years ago. But here we are. So, if Jeff Hardy does want to close out his career with CM Punk as his final opponent, I think that would make for an interesting story. Imagine Jeff Hardy as a heel and facing CM Punk as the babyface. Could be good. Could be very good. And since CM Punk has come back to WWE, he's had some really good feuds. The feud against Drew McIntyre, which for me was probably his best one he's ever had since coming back, and the feud against Seth Rollins, which so far has been really good and it's really heating up fast. And the cool thing about those rivalries, they weren't even for the title. So it just shows you that you don't always need a championship to make a good story. All you need is two guys with great personalities. Let them be themselves, let them do their thing, and the rest will follow. And if they've got the chemistry there already, all the better for it. So, is this something we could see again down the road? CM Punk versus Jeff Hardy one more time? I think so. Never say never. And obviously, both CM Punk and Jeff Hardy are much older now than they were back in 2009, 16 years ago. So we'll have to see if and when this could happen again. But I definitely wouldn't say no to seeing one more CM Punk versus Jeff Hardy match. They've got great chemistry in the ring and on the mic. Although I have to say CM Punk's probably the better talker out of the two. Jeff Hardy, he's all right on the mic, but he's not really what you would call a talker. Punk's the better talker on the mic because you look at some of his promos since he's come back, they have been red hot. So maybe Punk would have to carry a lot of the load on the mic, but Jeff Hardy will do what he has to do. He just goes out there and be Jeff Hardy, and he's a decent talker, but he's more known for his in-ring work than his mic skills. So Punk has definitely got the edge in that department. But as far as their 2009 feud, a complete success. I loved it. One of my all-time favorite feuds from 2009, and this feud, as far as I'm concerned, carried SmackDown. You know, these two really did a good job, and it was great. I would say it was the best feud of their respective careers, and it really did a good job putting them both over as respective heel and babyface. So that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. What did you guys think of the CM Punk versus Jeff Hardy 2009 feud? Did you enjoy it? What was your favourite match from this feud? The Bash, Night of Champions, or the TLC match at SummerSlam 2009? And what did you think of their steel cage match, loser leaves WWE stipulated match? Do you think that was good? And what was your favourite moment from this feud? Was it when CM Punk cashed in his Money in the Bank contract, or when Punk turned heel, or when Jeff Hardy defeated Punk for the World Heavyweight title? And who was you rooting for during this feud? CM Punk or Jeff Hardy? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Wrestling Discussion Series. So until then, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.